No!
And so begins the disappointing tale into the web-slinging world known as Spider-Man. Hi everybody, it's Ace, and today I'm taking a look back at my wacky journey with Spider-Man 3. I played it earlier this year, and it was...
I'm going to die!
It was quite the experience. Not one of my favorites, but I'd like to get a little more in depth as to why I felt this way, instead of just going, oh, it's the worst thing I've ever played, oh, burn it in a fire. So instead, here we are with things I hate about Spider-Man 3. So let's begin. One of the first things I look back on Spider-Man 3 is just the story. Now, the other Spider-Man games, they loosely follow the story of the movies, which is understandable, and this game also follows suit. But the problem is the story takes such a back seat to everything else. Like, here's a short rundown of what we gotta deal with in this game. There are 3 different gangs causing a ruckus in New York. Scorpion is being mind-controlled and used for nefarious purposes. You've got Kurt Connors turning himself into the Lizard to regrow his arm again. You've got Kraven trying to hunt down the Lizard with Calypso. You've got the Kingpin trying to rally all the gangs together to go after Spider-Man. You've got Detective DeWolf trying to hunt down rogue cops. And then you have the real plot of the story dealing with Sandman, Venom, and Harry as the new Goblin. The problem with this is there's just so much that the main story just isn't really there. With this game, unlike with the other 2, you get to go to certain spots on the map to choose different missions for each of these separate stories. And you just kind of do missions based on that. There's about 42 missions in the game, as I played the PC version, and you don't really deal with the main stuff like the symbiote and Sandman until about 27 missions in, and it's ridiculous. I mean, for something that's been marketed as the main point of the game, you'd feel like you'd have more time with it. Like, I enjoyed using the symbiote, but it felt so forgotten in this story. Not to mention that, let's talk about the other points, being Harry and Sandman. Harry you only really see 2 times in the game. One when you find him on the streets of New York, in no costume, might I add, and you knock him out and take him to the hospital, and then he doesn't show up again until the end of the game when you fight Sandman and Venom. So it's just, they've basically just removed Harry from the story, essentially. And as for Sandman, it's a whole nother mess in itself. As Sandman, his whole plot line is kind of just gone for the most part. Like, there's no connection between him and Peter this time, as where in the movie, Peter was led to believe that he was the one responsible for the death of Uncle Ben, as opposed to who he went after the first time. With that whole plot point out, it feels kind of weird to see Spider-Man beating the crap out of him in subways when they first meet in the game, as that connection's just not there. And the only reason he joins Venom this time to stop Spider-Man in their climactic battle at the end of the game is because Venom kidnaps his child, which feels so weird, as he was just easily able to take him to his side in the movie. So why'd they just remove that whole plot in the first place? And then there's Venom. It's just, I don't know what they were thinking, but this isn't Venom. Not even close. Like, the 90s Spider-Man show got Venom right. Spectacular Spider-Man, that's a good one. This is certainly not Venom. One of the only things I probably enjoyed out of all these separate stories is DeWolf hunting down crooked cops, as it felt like a nice little cool interlude between the main plot compared to everything else. So the fact that we had all these other stories really hurt, as I kind of wish that They were more side quests or side stories that you could choose to do on your own time as opposed to it taking up the main plot of the game, essentially. I really did not want to. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, oh boy, the combat. Now, the combat from 2 I thought was okay, but 3 just kind of missing things. As when it comes to hits, your hits just don't feel as heavy as they should. It's like you're punching just Play-Doh. That's just not gonna get anywhere. As a lot of times when you're fighting enemies, it just felt like I was never getting anywhere. But in reverse, they were just beating the absolute crap out of Spider-Man most times, which got really old really fast, even with the black suit, which, sure, there's a rage mode to do more damage, which honestly helped a lot during the game, but seeing as you don't really get it for a while, you're going to be getting beat up a lot, which I did. And yes, there is a dodging mechanic with the spider sense, which kind of slows down time, which not really sure when that power came into effect, but you know, I didn't like it as it left the spider sense on sort of like a meter, and if that meter runs out, you're just gonna start getting the crap beaten out of you again. This really came into its toll on me during the Kraven the Hunter fight in the sewers, during the Lizard story, as, let's just say, once you reach the second fight against Kraven, which is filled with an army of lizards that don't stop dropping in, by the way, you're going to start running out of your meter for spider sense so quickly to trying to slow down time to fight Kraven or just dodge getting attacked by the lizards. Which all culminates in, oh, if you happen to die during the second fight, you have to do the first fight all over again. And this melancholy loop of madness. I spent about 6 hours fighting Kraven and the armies of lizards over and over again. And by the time I did finish it, the fight against Kurt Connors as a lizard just didn't feel as impactful, because by then I just felt done with having to be in this section, period, and I just wanted to leave. And another thing that felt worthless that I can bring up is the Mary Jane sections, as her involvement in the story mainly just boils down to you just web swinging her across New York as a taxi or just for her own amusement. It's like, why is this a mission dedicated to this several times in the game? What does this add? What fun does this add? For me, it just feels like a waste of time where I could just be going off doing the other stories, as this just feels kind of tacked on there. The last thing I want to think about gameplay is towards even the end of the game, as Spider-Man getting the crap beaten out of him, Harry joins the fight, and it starts with one of the most aggravating things that the game adds: Quicktime Events. As several points in the game, you'll have Quicktime Events to either get through boss battles or just through certain sections. Now, some of the fails, I won't lie to you, are hilarious and should be appreciated for the ridiculousness that they are. However, some of the Quicktime Events are honestly just very poor and could come in real quick succession, so you don't really have time to press them all right. As the Sandman Quicktime Events at the end of the game are honestly the worst ones. It's so easy to miss, as it's coming at you in split-second accuracy, so you can just get flung into oblivion. And then there's the actual fight, which it's not a lot of time to master Harry's controls to get to it. And if you die, it's back to the Quicktime event once again. And then, once that's done, it leads to one last bash with Venom, and a Quicktime event to a very gruesome death which honestly, I wasn't expecting that. I was just expecting some last minute explosion like in the movie, but that's about it. And the story just kind of wraps up after that. Like, Sandman's kids saved, Spider-Man and them just kind of go off, and that's that. But we don't even get to see what happened to Harry, whether if he's dead or alive or what happened to him. No one knows. But at this point, I guess I just want this game to be over. Looking back on it all, the one thing I could say with my adventures with this is, I guess, as much as I complain about it, there could have been other things I could have done differently. Like, I know there's a version of Spider-Man 3 that allows you to have a suit at least an hour in on one of the other platforms. You know, like, if I had probably checked the DS version or PS3 version, things could have been different. But overall, Spider-Man 3 had the potential to be better than its movie counterpart, but there's just so much bogging it down, whether gameplay-wise or story, that it had no chance of reaching that zenith of good that it could have been, which really hurts. However, the only silver lining I know of now is that with Spider-Man 2 coming out in the near future with their own Venom story, I at least know Insomniac will save us from this memory and bring us something much better. But hey, that's just my opinion. So tell me, what did you guys think of Spider-Man 3? Or which version did you play? Let me know in the comments below and tell me how you felt. Other than that, be sure to look out for some more lovely reviews or lovely little videos like this on other games in the future. Until then, I've been Ace. Thanks for joining me for Things I Hate, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.